Dad, do you have the laptop? Ugh, great. He's in his toy room recording again. You know, ever since he started his podcast, he thinks he is so cool. He sits in there and talks about movies, toys, games, and whatever he thinks is pop culture news. Can you believe he wanted us to be on his show too? Yeah, right. But he still talks about what me and my two brothers do all the time. Another thing he does is ask people crazy questions and says it's for the show. Sometimes I see him recording videos of himself playing with his toys. Grow up, Dad. You know what else is funny? His logo is a picture of his face. I mean, come on, Dad. Do you really think people care what you have to say about all that stuff? Well, Dad, I hate to tell you, but you're a big dork. I guess that's why he calls his show Dork Dad Podcast. If you guys really want to hear my dad's show, you can listen on iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and pretty much everywhere else you can get your podcasts. If you want to follow him, he's on Facebook, Instagram, and sometimes Twitter under Dork Dad Podcast. Ugh, hurry up, Dad. I need to use the computer. Hey dorks, coming at you from the Lone Star State, a pop culture podcast about movies, TV, toys, and other dorky things, with a twist of real life dad stuff too. So here he is, Lucky the Dork Dad. This is the Dork Dad Podcast.
All right, welcome everybody to another episode of the Dork Dad Podcast. I am your host, Lucky, and this is a very special episode. I have a special guest with me today. An old friend of mine by the name of PJ. So, welcome to the show, PJ.
Thank you. Good to be here. Excited. Heard the show before and couldn't wait to be on here. So, let's get it.
All right, PJ. Why don't you tell a little bit about yourself? What do you do? And what kind of things you like, man?
So basically I'm a brand rep, right? I work for Samsung Electronics America, and I support them in the wireless retail locations here in town locally. Pretty much training and stuff like that. I keep them kind of up to date on our products and things like that, and help them kind of help you and serve the public when they come in looking for phones at any of your wireless retailers. Like I literally work with all of them.
All right, cool. Now, on this show today, we're going to get into a little bit of dork news. Got some dad stuff also, a little bit of what you're watching, but the main reason, especially why my boy PJ is here to talk about this movie called Joker.
Super excited, man. Super excited, and I'm also a dork, and I'm a dad as well, so... Like I said, couldn't wait to get on here and spend some time with you and, you know, go through some of the stuff. Man, the Joker was crazy. Like, seriously. But
yeah, that's what this show is all about. Dork dads, right? So I usually start off by going over the weekend box office numbers. Brought to you by Box Office Mojo. No sponsor, but if you're listening, I'm here. So... let's see, we can go over the top three. So, number 3 coming in is Downtown Abbey at $7.9 million. Dropping one spot at number 2 is Abominable. And number 1, of course, just blowing the weekend out of the water with $96 million is Joker.
Wow, that's incredible. Like I heard online I was reading that it was like record breaking box office weekend numbers type thing.
I believe it broke the October record, which was previously held by Venom, I believe.
Also a great movie. Loved Venom. I don't know what your take is on that, but I dug it. I dug his portrayal.
I liked it. I liked it a lot. What do you think about this part 2 with what's his name, Andy Serkis directing?
So I'm I'm extremely excited. You know, Venom is a cool character. He needs to be portrayed well. I think they found the right guy to do it, and I really like the grittiness and the whole, you know, how the conflicted kind of anti-hero story kind of played out. It was beautiful, and you know, is Venom really here to for us or for him? Like that's what you keep asking yourself.
Do you think we can go another movie without seeing a Spider-Man?
I mean, so I just heard that they came to an agreement, right? Like, Tom Holland actually stepped in. Like, that's what all the news is reporting, that he stepped in. I told my daughter not to worry about it. I thought this was all kind of hype. They were just kind of building the hype for some sort of, like, collab. But, I mean, I would love to see Spider-Man in Venom. And then, from what I hear, we might see that, and we're going to get, like, 2 or 3 more Spider-Man Marvel kind of movies where he can show up anywhere. Like, he can show up in Sony, he can show up in Marvel, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Getting into some news. Don't have too much news. It's been pretty busy at work. But are you familiar with Triple Force Friday?
I'm not. Educate me on Triple Force. Triple Force.
Well, I'm not an expert, but it is a day where we have a whole bunch of Star Wars releases as far as figures and whatnot. And I was a little disappointed because I had work on last Friday and I did not get my Mandalorian figure.
Absolutely, man. So the Mandalorian, that people are just so super excited to talk about Boba Fett and that whole storyline, right? Like the new show coming out on Netflix, is it right? Or
Disney Plus.
Disney Plus. Correct.
Come on.
Thank you. Yeah, missed it. But looking forward to that, man. That's gonna be amazing. Hopefully, right?
Have you seen the trailer?
Yeah, I saw the trailer. It looks very, looks very well done, very provocative, and like I think it's gonna draw a crowd for sure.
You think Star Wars can survive without lightsabers?
Star Wars has become a little bit mainstream. Like, it used to be very dark, and now it's not quite as, and now it's under Disney. But I think it can. I mean, there's a lot of stories there. I mean, this last movie they had where they what was that movie?
The Last Jedi.
Not the last one, but not the Jedi, but the one the not in line. It was
Solo.
Not Solo, the other one. With the girl. Rogue One. Yeah, like, I loved Rogue One. Like, I thought it was amazing. I thought that was one of the better Star Wars movies that's come out lately, honestly.
Right.
Like, I loved it, and there wasn't a lot of lightsaber play in that or any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so. Rogue One's great. Have you seen Solo?
I did see Solo.
Solo was great to me, too.
I loved it. Iconic character, super cool. I love Chewie. I love Han Solo, and of course I wanted to see his origin story and kind of where that kind of came from and stuff.
Yeah, people missed out on that. The ones that didn't give it a chance. But yeah, Triple Force Friday. So there was a whole bunch of toy releases for the new movie. They had figures for the new video game coming out. You know that game?
What's the name of it?
Fallen Order.
Fallen Order?
Yeah.
I played the last one. It was the multiplayer. It had, you could fly a TIE fighter. You could be Darth Vader. You could be Yoda. It was so
Battlefront?
dope. Yeah, it was Battlefront 2. It was amazing. Love it. I still have it. Obviously, I throw it in just for a kick sometimes. The movie or the music in it and the video on it on the Xbox One S, man, it's incredible. Like, really legit.
Xbox. You're an Xbox guy?
Yeah, I'm an Xbox guy. I'm an online console guy. Interesting. We can get into this if you really want to, but I am a gamer, hardcore gamer.
All right.
I started way back in the day when we were. My brother was trading games back when you were living in Germany on BBS systems. Like, he would actually like use the phone line and communicate with other computers, and this was pre-internet. This was like the first
war game.
Yeah, it was last time I brought this up on my podcast, like, that's exactly what they talked about. But so it was I started off way back then, and I've gotten to the point now where I'm done PC gaming. I think there's a lot of room for like hackers and stuff in that, but console gaming kind of keeps it kind of pure, kind of keeps it with a little bit of skill, and I like the whole joystick feel. I grew up in the 80s, so to me the joystick was legit, right? So
yeah, that's what she said, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I love games myself. I just never get a chance to play. Like I have all of the Walking Dead Telltale games, and I just have them there. I just haven't got a chance to go through them. I just recently. Well, I'm excited about The Last of Us. That's a PS4 game, though, right?
So it
Last
looks,
of Us 2.
it looks great, and I am a Walking Dead fan as well. And I played the last days. There's a similar title on Xbox as well that my buddy got me. A mutual friend, Jason, Dirty J. A mutual friend of ours got us into that, and he's a big zombie apocalypse kind of guy, and he's always like fighting off hordes and stuff, and calling me, and hey man, jump on, we got a bunch of zombies chasing us. So like we've had some good times on there. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that for sure. Like right now, I've been playing a lot of Apex. I don't know if you've heard of that, but
yeah, I'm not too familiar.
Yeah, it's one of them battle royale style kind of first-person shooters.
You're a Fortnite guy.
I tell you what, I'm not a Fortnite guy. I really don't like Fortnite just because the whole build aspect kind of threw me off. Like that's kind of a weird aspect, but I like it. I mean, it takes some of the brutality out of the game. It kind of had some strategic kind of building stuff, I guess.
I'm not a big Fortnite fan, but I kind of like the way that I'm more of a third person guy where you actually see the character. I suck,
Metal Gear.
I suck at first person
yeah,
shooters.
Yeah.
Suck.
No, yeah, I get it. Yeah, I get it. You third person.
To me, it's just awkward. First person shooters.
So Gears of War, you like Gears of War? You're a fan?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know. I'm Divisions like that as well. There's a bunch of games out there like that with the third person kind of view. You can see somebody coming up to the side of you and stuff. Yeah, it's
trying to play online Call of Duty with my friends, and they just be laughing at me. They're like, "What are you doing?" Because you just see the character just like looking around. Yeah, I can't play those.
Are you so console? Like, are you inverted? Are you inverted? Like when you look up, do you like the joystick to look up, or do you like it to look down? You're normal.
Yeah, I'm normal. I mean, I can do either way.
See, that's weird. I grew up playing flight simulators and stuff. Like my brother was a big So inverted. All my friends hate that. So when they grab my controller, they're like, "What the heck's going on here?" So,
all right,
kind of crazy.
Well, speaking of zombies, right? Walking Dead season 10, right? Just came out last night. Did you get a chance to watch that?
I did not. I did not. And I feel embarrassed to say that because I'm a huge fan. And we were just talking before this about I have a confession to make. I'm stuck in one of the old seasons. But I'm a huge Walking Dead fan. I just time and so those things are kind of fun to do with someone, and right now my wife is like, yeah, I'm not a big fan, so like it's tough, but maybe since you're a big fan, like maybe we can start catching up on that together. I can have somebody to kind of throw that back and forth with. But again,
how far back are you?
So the big fight scene, Rick's still alive. The big fight scene, kind of like the end of season 4. Is that right?
4.
Is that right? No, I mean it's the big fight scene where they like all the groups kind of like it's way past that. It was like when they were fixing to go up against Negan, and then the other guys kind of like, and then Negan gets away, right? Like he's in that. He's in that camper and like ends up getting away, right? Like,
okay, that's not too far. That's probably 8.
Okay, yeah,
Season 8.
So I mean, but again, I was on Walking Dead before it was cool. Like literally, like I was watching it in my garage, and like nobody else was watching it, and I'm like this guy Rick just woke up in a hospital and like the apocalypse is happening around him. Like that is like my nightmare. That's literally when I have a nightmare, that's my nightmare.
And really, I caught on late myself. Like I didn't really start until like maybe season 3. Some guys at work were talking about it, and now I'm just a huge fan, huge. And
who's your character? Like who are your like main characters in The Walking Dead?
Of course, Rick's the man. If I had number 2, it'd be Carol. Carol is a badass.
Yeah, Carol's legit.
Yeah,
Carol.
Let's see what else we got. Well, I guess I talked about the weekend box office numbers, I didn't tell you what's coming out this week. This week is releasing Gemini Man. You seen that with Will Smith?
Will Smith, yeah. I saw the trailer. What do
you think about that? It's like,
man, he knows how to pick them, doesn't he? Like Gemini Man, Legend. What was the other one? iRobot. Like he's trying to tell us something. Like I think Will's a lot cooler and a lot more hip than we all give him credit, man. Like that guy's, like, and this Gemini Man talks about what, like cloning people, right?
Yeah, so supposedly they clone him, and he's been assigned to take himself out. It's kind of odd. Speaking of Will Smith, did you know he was actually up for the role of Neo in The Matrix?
I think I've heard that. Like I could have seen that. Like yeah, I could have seen that, man. Like Will could have played that. That fits his persona. Like that fits his mold. Like I could see how he could have done that. Like totally. Like yeah, man.
He could have part 4 coming out.
Well, and he's got Bad Boys coming. Is that already hit or?
No, not yet.
It's coming though, right?
Coming with Big Mama.
Yeah.
Big Mama. Martin.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Good old
like
Martin.
From Big Mama's house.
Martin. Yeah, like I remember when he had his own show, man. Network show. That was legit.
Yeah.
Good times.
I see. Also have the animated Addams Family coming out. And do you have little ones, or how old are your kids?
So my daughter, she's 11. She's so cool. She actually dressed up like we did Addams Family a couple of Halloweens ago. Yeah, there's a couple pictures of us. We were at our good friend's house, Jordan. She's amazing, real nice. Jordan and her hubby and her family. They had a Halloween party and we went as Addams Family, and it was pretty good. My daughter pulled it off pretty good.
And you guys dressed up quite a bit.
Yeah. I
wish my family would do that.
Man, I don't know. Sometimes I think it's just that they like to do family things, and that's one thing they can get into. Like, they're like, oh, okay, like maybe we can get into that because they're both kind of girly girls. But my daughter, like, we actually watched the second Addams Family just the other night. Like, my daughter's literally obsessed with the 80s. So, like, right now on Hulu, they have this Huluween thing going on. Right? Like, so it's pretty cool, right? I love it. So, like, we're catching up on some, like, Halloween movies, and most of them from the 80s. Like, she's really digging it. Yeah.
And you guys do cosplay? You guys go to the cons and all that?
So, yeah. So, we've done a couple Comic-Cons. She was into Pokemon. It started off for her, it was Pokemon. Like she really liked some of the Pokemon characters, and then so I took her to 1 or 2 Comic-Cons, and I mean I was like, yeah, we're really going for you, but like I mean, and Batman was there and all the Marvel characters, so I was pretty excited. So I ended up going, and Patty noticed that I had more fun than Indiana, and she was like, we're really going to these for you, right? And I was like, I guess so. But yeah, man, we've done Bob's Burgers. We've done Pokemon. We dressed up like some of the Pokemon characters.
Nice.
And we've done Star Wars and the Addams Family too. Addams Family was Halloween, but I mean we could definitely probably pull that
Star
off.
Wars, were you Han Solo?
No, I got this. I got a couple of stormtrooper outfits that I snagged from Target, and they're actually pretty good. Like the helmet was really dope. Like I spent a little money on the helmet, but real cool stormtrooper outfit that I've used for work. I've used for Halloween. I've used multiple occasions. It's totally come in handy.
And get your money's worth.
Yeah, man. Why not?
Man, speaking about Comic Cons, did you see? Well, to me, it's a big announcement. This year at Alamo City Comic Con, the Halloween edition, Michael
Keaton in the Batman, the original, like one of the original Batmans, dude.
I am so torn right now, though, man. I'm so torn. I want to go so bad, and I found out he's only going to be there Sunday, which is a bummer for me because Sunday is actually my company's family day, and it's kind of a big deal. My family looks forward to it. The company I work for, they actually rent out the Six Flags down here in San Antonio, the whole park just for us. So it's super cool. You don't have to wait in any lines. No, it's just, like I say, it's the perfect way to go to Six Flags. And I can't miss that just for me to go see Michael Keaton, even though I really want to.
Yeah, I mean, I totally get it. That's actually really cool of your company to do that. Just heads up, like, hashtag, like, that's cool.
Yeah.
Shout out to them. But yeah, man, I don't know. Michael Keaton, dude, I might have to go check that out. Like, that's, like, he's the man. And now he's in Marvel, too, right?
Yeah,
so
Marvel.
It's Beetlejuice.
Yes.
Like, literally.
Yes.
Like, I literally made my daughter watch Beetlejuice a couple weekends ago. And I was like, what do you think? She was like, wow, this is crazy. And then after watching it, I was like, hey, I didn't, I was talking to my wife. I was like, I didn't realize this movie was kind of this, like this, That's what, good movies. Like, she really enjoys it. I mean, Stranger Things is way worse, I think, than like Beetlejuice. So
all kids like Stranger Things.
Right
I like
now.
Stranger Things.
Oh man, Stranger Things is so dope. And like, so I heard you mention it before, and like you're wondering who that American is in Russia, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got to be Hopper,
It's
right?
gotta be, man. Jeez.
Yeah.
Like,
did you see that little teaser?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the one that came out there.
Yeah,
And they're like,
we're
bring
not
the
in
American.
Hawkins.
Yeah.
I said we're not in Hawkins anymore.
Oh, yeah.
So everybody's thinking we're gonna be in Russia. I don't know. I mean, are kids gonna go there, or maybe they just mean Hopper's there?
It's a crazy story. I tell my daughter that Stranger Things is the closest thing that I've seen of what like my childhood was like literally, like I played D&D with my buddies. Like that was it. The bikes, crazy clothes.
They play up the nostalgia to the T.
To it. They're really good at it, man. You got to hand it to these guys, like killing it right now. Like Walking Dead is great, and they're making it last. And like, Stranger Things is just so good. Like they're reviving these cool genres that I think that we're big fans of, right? Like this whole like apocalyptic comic book kind of,
It's like they say, it's a good time to be alive.
Cheers to that.
And cheers to that. And why don't you tell a little bit about what we're drinking here?
So we are enjoying some Carbach brewery. They have this really cool flavor, Hopadillo. He is in the can somewhere. It's like waiting in bold anticipation. It's a really malty kind of hoppy craft beer that I brought over, and I was like, hey man, you got to try one of these here. They're really good. So
And it's delicious.
yeah, good stuff.
It's delicious. Let's see. Sometimes I talk about what you're watching or what I've been watching lately. And this week I haven't watched shit. But I don't know if there's anything you want to bring up. I know we were talking before. You mentioned some shows that are worth watching.
So I'll jump in here and kind of help you out. So I will say, not a Trek fan.
No.
We had this conversation.
No.
He's not a Trekkie.
No.
So I will step in at this point, and for all you Trekkies out there that happen to be listening to Dork Dad, I want to let you know I'm here for you. Two big announcements from the Star Trek world, and just recently, like I shared them on my Facebook. Like, I know, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's funny, right? The first one is Picard. Right.
Okay.
So you've seen Next Generation, you told me. So you know who Picard is,
yes.
right? So Picard's coming back in a series, and people are freaking out. People are losing their minds right now because Picard is like a legitimate person in this thing. Like I was telling the wife the other day, and she literally tweeted what I told her. I go, listen, babe, you know Will and Grace? I go, there is no Will and Grace without Will. That's who Picard is to Star Trek. So, anyway, Captain Picard's coming back. He's going to launch a whole new series. It's super crazy. I'm super stoked about that.
As far as you know, is it just Picard or anybody else from Next Generation?
So, really cool. So, in the Picard trailer that just came out, we see that he's having a flashback dream sequence, and he's talking to Data, which is his like main dude, right? Like, and Data is disabled. He's in pieces. He's gone. But anyway, Data's telling him, basically like, hey, time to get back in the fight, buddy. You know, and Picard's just there, like, kind of like astonished to kind of see him. It's crazy. So he's in it, and also on top of that, we have a Discovery. So Discovery is a new spin-off of Star Trek. It's
not related to Generation.
Well, it's not related. That's why this is... So not everybody welcomes Discovery to the Star Trek realm because it's a little bit new aged. It's been kind of buffed. That's a gamer term for like, It's been like revamped for like TV nowadays and to keep people interested. Anyway, it's an amazing story, man. It's literally, I was just telling Lucky, it's literally if you took Star Trek and you mixed it with like a little Rick and Morty, like it's twisted. And that's what really caught, I think, a lot of Trekkie fans off guard because they were really not liking it.
Star Trek and Rick and Morty.
Yeah, man, Discovery's so cool. So they have this main character named Michael Brenham, and she is legit. Like she's a go-getter. She's a risk taker, and she stands up for her moral values and ideologies, and she really kind of takes you on this weird, crazy adventure. And like, I mean, different timelines, wormholes. I mean, you name it, and it's intense, but I tell you what, it's a great story. There's some really good messages in it, and like, I think you'll really enjoy it. If you're a sci-fi fan, sci-fi buff, you've never been into Star Trek, Discovery would be the one to watch because this is the one that all the hardcore Trekkie fans hate. So if you've never gotten into it, you maybe want to mess with your buddy, be like, hey man, I'm a huge Discovery fan, like, have you checked this out? And Spock's in it too. And yeah, I think, was that what you were gonna ask me?
Spock from the movie?
So Spock
New guy.
What do you mean?
Newer movies.
It's not the same character, but it is the same.
Not the same actor.
It's not the same actor, but it is the same character. Like, It is Spock. And it's cool because what people don't understand is that Discovery takes place before Captain Kirk and all that. Like,
really?
Yeah. So it's a little bit strange, and that's what bothered a lot of people.
So it's like the Star Wars prequels.
Yeah, but man, they get thrown into, like, this season 3. They're talking about being 950 years in the future.
Wow.
So crazy stuff. Like,
so, I think you might have sold me with Rick and Morty and time travel. So,
I'm Pickle Rick.
Let's see.
Hey, Rick and Morty they just dropped the trailer. They're coming back in November, right? Is that?
Yeah. Have you seen the trailer yet?
No.
Oh, I haven't either.
Oh snap! Are we gonna watch this? We're gonna check it out.
See if I can do this here. If I have this set up right.
So if you haven't seen Rick and Morty, they're on season 3. This is here we go.
It's been way too long.
Rick, we did it! We got it!
Hurry up, Morty, get in!
Chachi!
Fuck Chachi, Morty.
The smartest Rick and Mortiest Morty in the universe are back.
I'm not rated to climb something this sheer.
Look, you're the guy that wanted an epic adventure. I'm the guy with only one hover chair.
And things are pretty much the same.
And that's the end of the Morty Gets a Dragon experiment.
Are you gonna slay it?
First off, I always slay it, Queen. Secondly, yes.
All fucked up.
We got an Akira type situation going down behind the mall.
Let that salve sit for 10 minutes or you'll die. Don't let it sit for 12 or I'll have to hunt down what you become. Lab coat, rip off Doctor Strange. You know what? You're right. I could get used to this magic stuff.
I'm dying, Rick.
People who are really dying don't keep bringing it up.
Is that true?
I don't know. I'm just usually around people that die faster.
That's not how apps work.
Spinal cord, activate morphine. You know what? This one counts as one of your adventures.
Rick and Morty. 5 all-new episodes start Sunday, November 10th at 11:30. Half the season you deserve. All the season we could handle.
Damn it, Morty, what did I tell you?
Only on Adult Swim.
Nice.
Oh man.
I always slay it.
That was insane. So wow, like, I mean, they're back at it again. It doesn't feel like they've missed a step.
I kind of like that they're dropping 5 right off the bat, and then going into regular drops. On that same kind of note, Netflix, you know how they drop their shows all at once. Do you prefer to have everything dropped at once, or maybe a new episode week to week?
You know, I don't mind the new episode week to week. I like kind of being drug out. Like, I tell you what, I got into this True Blood. I don't know if you got into True Blood.
No, that's.
If any of y'all are kind of weird and like blood and sexy people and crazy vampire stories and space and magic,
that's the generation just under us.
Yeah, but I mean, man, it was crazy. There's some cool stuff in there. I mean, they go way out. But anyway, it's yeah, man. I mean, I've gotten into some stuff. That's for sure.
I mean, I'm kind of torn because I like binging, right? I like seeing one right after the other. But then the downfall of that is
how did you feel? Yeah, how did you feel after Stranger Things? I know you binged it. I did too.
Yeah.
How did you feel? You didn't have anything else to watch, and you were just like sitting there like
you're done,
like a kid like on Christmas where you just got your toy, you're playing with it, and then it breaks.
Yeah,
and then you're like done.
You're done, and we gotta wait a whole year for another episode.
Exactly, it's terrible, man.
So it's good and bad.
And Walking Dead, weren't they like the kings of it? Like they would do an episode for October they start, and then they stop, and then they throw in 2 or 3 episodes here and there, and then they do another series.
They do like a mid-season break.
What is that, dude? Like, that's,
to me, I think that's just
brilliant.
That's like NFL playoff time. I think they don't want to compete because they.
Hey, that's smart.
Their show comes out on Sunday.
You know what?
That's my thought.
People above our pay grade are making those decisions. I think they're on point.
I think that's where it's
there. You
go. Let's see. As far as cartoons, another one coming out that just dropped on Netflix is season 3 of Big Mouth. Have you seen Big Mouth?
I have seen Big Mouth.
What do you think of that show?
I mean, it's a great show. I think it's hysterical.
To me, it's pretty up there with Rick and Morty.
I mean, it's spot on as far as teen angst and yen. I mean, it's spot on. Like, you know.
And if you have kids, this cartoon is not for kids.
Yeah, no. Yeah, in any shape or form. But I heard. I mean, I don't know, on the interwebs, that they're actually doing a spin-off of it, and it's literally going to be about the monsters.
Really, like their whole world?
Yeah.
I'd watch that.
Yeah.
I'd watch that.
That's a very Rick and Morty at that point.
I'd watch that.
Adult Swim. Get it.
All right, I guess we should just go ahead and get on to why we're here. Right?
Okay. So we're going to open this can of worms.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
let's do it.
So, Joker, right?
No.
Just off the bat, what was your first reactions? Without getting into too detail, what was your first reaction after watching it?
I literally, I was in shock. I was speechless, and I didn't know how to process. Like, I was processing it, and I was trying to figure out, what I liked about it, what I didn't, and I think at the same time you kind of ask yourself, like, should I really be feeling this way? Like a little bit, right? Like, I mean, you do empathize with the character, right? But
yeah.
but then I read a tweet and it literally said, that's exactly why you should see this film, because it's really about mental health, and it's really about, what people go through, and people don't really realize that. A lot of people don't realize.
What was your talk about your experience? Like, I saw it on Thursday, which is opening night. When did you see it? Like, what was the crowd like?
Yeah, very. That's actually a very good question. Obviously, like, there's some controversy about this film, and there's some weird vibes about it.
Where did you see it at?
We saw it at Embassy in the middle of the day, a matinee. We weren't going to go at night. I just didn't want to go at night. I mean, I figured there would be police presence and all that, but I didn't want to go at night, and to be quite honest with you, when we sat in the theater, everything was cool. But I did keep looking at everybody that walked in, and, who was walking in, what that guy looked like, because
Taking a mental note.
I mean, it's unfortunately we live in that world today.
So there was police presence even during the day?
Yeah, so Embassy had police presence. They literally had a squad car parked out front, like literally in the front. Like, I get it. And then when you walked into the theaters, there was a armed police officer right next to the bar, because they have bar and food and stuff. And then when we were watching the film, it seemed like there was a guy sitting like at the aisle or at the exit, pretty much the whole time. Like, I was consuming some alcoholic beverages, and I had to get up a couple of times, so I saw him there. So yeah, I noticed that. So, but yeah, I saw in the middle of the day. Unfortunately, like, that's weird, but I have to admit it.
Yeah, I was a little shocked. I mean, I heard all the things about this, about it supposedly promotes guns and this and that. Maybe I wasn't expecting the police presence, but I saw at the Evo's, a new theater up here in Shirts, or Cibolo, and there was many cops there. I mean, they were there literally opening the door for us as we walked in.
Awesome.
It was so
I
crazy.
love that. And I mean, I love it. That's what we need. I'm glad we were smart. I'm glad, I didn't hear of anything that went down, and that's exactly how it should be. I think we just need to be smart and pay in the air of caution. But I will tell you that, there's a whole nother side of this. My daughter was a huge comic book fan. She's watched all the Marvel movies with me, and she knows I'm a huge Batman, Joker, and she's a Harley Quinn fan.
Right.
And we had her this weekend, and she was like, hey, like, what's the deal? And I literally sat her down and I said, listen, based off what I've read, I don't think this is the show for you. I just don't think it was right for her personally, and that was a decision that I made. So we took her to her friend's house, and she had a good time.
It's funny, I kind of talked to you a little bit about it before. I originally bought 3 tickets. I was going to take me, my oldest son, which is 16, and my youngest son, which is 10. And we started seeing the ads, and it's actually it got some nationwide coverage, but I believe it actually started here at Alamo Draft House. There was a promotion that went out saying, "Do not take your kids. This and that. There's no Batman. It's not a movie for them." And so me and my wife decided to leave my youngest at home. I originally told you, hey, I think my son could have handled it, but now that I really let the movie sink in more, maybe it's better that he didn't. I just think my son, he's pretty mature for 10, and to me, I think he probably would have thought the movie was boring, and wouldn't have thought of anything of it. But there was some really heavy parts.
Yeah, I think so. Exactly what you said. He would have thought it was boring. He wouldn't have gotten it. And I think that's the main thing. Is this movie had a lot to say, and there was some artistic things in this movie. There were some nods to cinema here. There were some definite nods to comic book. I mean, as much as they said, "Oh, this doesn't tie in," whatever, they did set up Batman, the revival of Batman, Dark Knight, completely.
There's a little homages in there.
Oh yeah, big time. But I mean, I think it was exactly what DC needed. I mean, even though it's not technically a DC movie, right? It had a Warner. Do you recall what the logo was when it opened up? It was Warner Brothers, right? It was just W, right? And it was just...
It was the old school Warner Brothers logo.
Heck yeah, it was so dope. I love that feel. Yes. And it is set in the 80s, right? It's set in the 80s when there's some really cool, crazy stuff going on. And
I like that logo. They should bring it back.
Yeah, man, for sure. But yeah, it was cool. It was really good.
How hyped were you though for this movie going into it? Were you excited, or were you I don't know what to think about this movie?
So I was really excited when I saw the critics come out with what they were talking about. That really got me excited. I'm a huge Joaquin Phoenix fan.
Yes.
Dude, that guy's kind of weird, and most people at their craft, most people, are a little strange, right? He's definitely fits that mold, and I think his portrayal was great. I think the movie really talked about some really pressing issues, and it was something new, something very in your face. It was unapologetic. It was very brutal. Yes. But again, it needed to be seen. It needs to be seen. You need to see this, and you need to kind of experience that, and I don't want to glamorize any of that. I mean, I'm not trying to spoil the movie for anybody, but it's not about guns. It's not anything about that. It's literally.
There's so many ways you can look at it. I mean, mental illness, bullying, and just how much can a man take?
Any of us, right?
Yeah. But one thing it is not is definitely not a superhero movie. It does not, to me, it does not fit that mold. It's not a Marvel movie. It's not Guardians of the Galaxy.
No, it's a tragic story about man. I mean, it's a tragic story.
And I think it had to be that way in order for this movie to succeed. Because really, to be honest, who was asking for a Joker movie? No one. I mean, we've never had his origin before. No one really cared.
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned that the Joker's origin is so I actually did some research on this, and it turns out that the reason Joker didn't have an origin is because they didn't want you to sympathize with the Joker. They didn't want you to empathize with the Joker. The Joker was supposed to be out of nowhere, no origin story, so he can be the villain, so he can be the bad guy. But in reality, that's not reality. In reality, these people come from somewhere, and I think the better we understand that, the better we can understand literally what's happening in society today. Some of these people, some of these bad people don't just wake up and go bad. There's a reason. This comes from somewhere. So again, there's that. There's I guess the awareness is kind of what it's bringing to the table a little bit.
Now we're gonna get spoilers, right?
Are we gonna get into it?
Yeah, we'll get into spoilers.
Let's get into it. Hey man, it's been a week or two now. If you haven't seen the movie, that's your fault, son.
It's been a few days.
That's your fault, son.
Are you familiar with the Killing Joke?
I am familiar with the Killing Joke.
No, you mentioned they said it does not have any ties to the comic, but it does have some similar things with the Killing Joke as far as the Joker being a troubled comedian or failed comedian. What do you think about his whole comedy routine?
It was great. I think they were paying homage to that, and it was an interesting scene. It definitely was. Like, and if you notice in that scene, like, he seems to kind of like pull it off at the end, and then all of a sudden it cuts off, and it's like on to something else.
Yeah. And
that raised some questions, and honestly, I think is why when I walked out of that movie, for some reason, something didn't sit right with me. I was like, something's up. Like, I didn't catch it because I'm not, I get so enthralled in the movie. I'm just literally along for the ride. But on second and third look at it, and as you start looking at it holistically, it's like, did that really happen? So there's some theories out there, right?
There are, yeah. Maybe I jumped ahead too much, but maybe if we backtrack, just starting off, he's there talking to the caseworker. What did you think about that whole interaction? It's like realizing from the very beginning he's there's something wrong with this guy.
Yeah. She turns a blind eye. She's just there, kind of like the minimum, right? Like that's kind of how we deal with mental illness, right? Like we know it's there. Oh, okay. Let's put him over there. Let's give him meds. Let's
come in every other week or whatever it is.
We'll keep an eye on them. That's the thought process, right? Like, but I think we're realizing that not the case.
You really feel for him when the lady's telling him, this is gonna be our last session. He's like, what am I gonna do about my meds,
dude? So all the political connotation. I mean, because that really happened. Like, so I talked to my dad, and he's like, "Yo, that really happened." Like, straight up. Like, back in the day, we used to take care of all those people, and it just got expensive, man. Taxpayers are paying money, whatever, where it's coming from. So eventually they removed a lot of those programs. So a lot of these people are on the streets. A lot of these people are homeless, right? And so that's scary too.
And what's just really crazy too, though, he's definitely, there's something wrong with him, definitely, right? He's mentally challenged, or he's got issues, but yet he's still there. He takes care of his mother. He gives her a bath. He makes ends meet. Dressing up as a clown, doing whatever odd jobs, advertising, what have you. I mean, as messed up as he was still a good person, a good son to his mother, doing whatever he can.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tragic story, and I think your environment is what shapes you, and then what happens to you, and then we find out later on in the movie of how she let him get abused and all that kind of jazz. Like, I mean, there's a lot that spirals this out of control, right?
Yeah. What was the biggest shock moment for you? There's a few.
Yeah, I think
either an oh shit or like, oh, for real.
I didn't. I mean, I didn't see the stabbing in the neck coming, man. That was super like fast. Like, he was just like a ninja, man. Just came out of nowhere and like.
I think that was my favorite. Well, yeah,
it was. Yeah, I mean, that was the bully, right? That was the guy who got him in trouble and whatever. I mean, he was definitely getting revenge, but like, I mean, I don't know. That was probably the most shocking moment, but. The moments that I liked, I think the most, it was better than shocking, was unfortunately, I mean, when he was coming into his own, like when he became comfortable, like after that first kill, he like walks out and he does that dance in the bathroom. When he walks out of there and that strut that he has and that confidence that he's truly, what did my wife say? He's truly owning who he is. He's truly, like, he realizes, hey, this laugh wasn't a condition. This is who I am, and that's, I got chills.
It didn't phase him at
Dude,
all.
I got chills, man. And him in that suit and turning that corner, and just he has that stride, that little strut. It was incredible. The cinematography was so. Yeah, a lot of people are talking Oscar. I'm definitely gonna be very, anxious to see what happens when this movie comes up for awards and stuff.
Yeah, I'm rooting for him. That laugh though, like you're saying, for those who don't know, he has this condition where he just can't control his laughing, and that just fits with the Joker so well. Just to put a reason on why he's always laughing, it's great. I think my favorite moments is where he just kind of laughs out of just a random moment and then just stops all of a sudden. To me, I was chuckling a little bit, but just great by Joaquin Phoenix. So I mentioned the Killing Joke. What other Easter eggs or what other things that you noticed out there?
Yeah, so I noticed a couple things, and I didn't catch everything, but I definitely noticed a couple things. I saw the Wayne family walking out during the riot, like not in the second take, but in the first take. Like I looked and I saw him coming out of the theater. The pearls. That was a big homage there. Him talking to young Bruce Wayne, that was intense. Like that was so creepy, and it, and also, I mean, as the story goes, you find out that the Joker thinks he's also Bruce Wayne's brother or a illegitimate son of sorts, but
that was a jaw-dropping moment for me. I saw him reading his mom's letters, and I was like, what the hell?
that definitely was jaw-dropping, and it totally makes sense, and then everything lines up, and even you're kind of, taken by it. You want it to be true, but then you find out it's not. And your mom's crazy, and this and that. But at the same time, maybe it is true. I mean, Thomas Wayne is a very powerful man. It could have been true. It could have been that he bluffed it, and that that's still out there too. So
he's got everybody on board saying, "No, it's not made up all this story."
Exactly, but it could be true.
Make his mom thinks she's crazy,
and that happens so much. I mean, that is a classic tale, right? I mean, that's so many tales throughout history that could be. So ultimately, I don't know, man. I don't know if we can trust Thomas Wayne. He's a very powerful man as well,
And so we had two theater scenes, and the first theater scene when he goes in, he dresses up as like a bellboy, or the theater outfit as an usher. In my mind, I was thinking, oh, this is it. This is where he takes out Thomas Wayne. I totally thought that was the part, or I thought that was coming up, and it ends up being not. But I was totally fooled by that part.
Yeah.
I was like, it's coming.
Yeah, there was some funny stuff there, definitely. Dude, so, I mean, one of the big references we haven't mentioned or Easter eggs was Taxi Driver. I mean...
Oh, yeah. One having De Niro in there, right?
I mean, De Niro is in there. The talk show host's whole thing, that's all part of Taxi Driver.
There's another movie, isn't there? I forget the name of it. Another Scorsese movie. Supposedly the name.
Yes.
I'm losing the name. De Niro plays a comedian.
Yes.
And
yes.
and idolizes talk show hosts.
Right. That's exactly that. I think that's what I was going with that. So yeah, there's lots of references to cinema. I mean, definitely Taxi Driver was crazy. Like, so in the movie, he got his gun from a friend, from a coworker.
Right.
In Taxi Driver, he got his gun from a coworker as well. And it was a similar situation.
He's an outcast.
The haircut versus the dyed hair, being an outcast and all that kind of jazz. Yeah, like so. And then De Niro being in the film just altogether was a big deal, I think.
What did you think of his role? It was a little weird seeing him in that kind of role.
I mean,
I liked it, though.
Yeah, dude. De Niro's He's
De Niro.
he's golden. Whatever he does, he's insane. It's a big draw, and I think it played very, very well. Like, because of his clout, you know, we all believed, oh yeah, De Niro would definitely have his own show. So we were all in there just watching, just ready to see what happens with this character, and it was insane. It was incredible.
Yeah, that scene, you know, at the end, right? I still get chills because to me that one just came out of nowhere too.
Yeah.
Because you see him, right? He has this whole plan where he's gonna go on a show, and the way it looks to us, he's gonna go in there and he's gonna kill himself, right? And then when you see him pull that gun out, it's wow.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I think he goes through a metamorphosis, right? Like, before he was Fleck, right? He was Arthur Fleck. And I think Arthur Fleck would have killed himself. But once he got on that show, he was the Joker, and the Joker is not having that. Like, that's when it changed for him, and he's like, I am no longer prey, I am the predator.
And it's like he talked his way through it almost. At the beginning of the movie, we see that he envisioned himself as an audience member of the show, and talking about he lives with his mama, and Robert De Niro brings him on stage, and he's just like imagining this whole thing. And then later on, when he does a stand-up routine, De Niro somehow gets footage of that. It's a little weird that he ended up with footage of his show, and ends up making fun of him. And, you know, there at the end, he's just like, you know what? You ain't making fun of me, right? Boom.
So, and yeah, and then there you get it, right? Like, all this is going on, and all this is very, like, it's very sensational. It's almost unbelievable, right? Yeah. And then you start asking yourself, and then you see the relationship with the girl, and then all of a sudden she's like, who, like, your name's Arthur, right? Like, yo, like, they just hooked up, and then, like, you're like, you don't know my name? Dude. Like, so we find out, right? We find out that a lot of that he imagined.
And
he's not a reliable narrator, man.
I didn't think about it at the time, but I was seeing the clues, right?
Yeah, they definitely lay it out for you.
So we first see his neighbor, if you will, right, in his apartment building, in the elevator. He holds the door for her and her daughter, and you know they have a conversation back and forth, and he gets turned on by that. To me, it looked like he got turned on by it. And then you see him, you know, taking that step to try to engage conversation, and they end up going on, right? But one thing that I caught is every other scene after that, you see her. She goes to the comedy club with him, right? And you don't think about it at the time, but I was thinking in the back of my head, I was like, where is her daughter? You know, is she gonna leave? She was a single mom. Is she gonna leave the daughter at home by herself?
Yeah, exactly.
And the same thing we see.
Oblivious to that fact of her, right?
And then his mom goes to the hospital, and she's there with him at the hospital. And I'm like, okay, where's your daughter?
Where's the daughter? Yeah. Wow. Man. That was a good call. Good catch. No, I just noticed, like, she didn't know him, and then I just noticed how, like, the whole comedy show went kind of, like, they kind of just skipped over, like, did he land? Did he do well? Did he kill? Or did he, like, it was kind of in the middle. So, but yeah, like, but at the end, when he's being interviewed and he's walking out of that place, he's being interviewed. He's in what looks like could be Arkham, but it looks way too white. It looks way too clean. And his shoes are bloody, and you get the eerie feeling like, was he just imagining just all this crap?
You can tell it's like the same caseworker, but she looks a lot older.
It literally looks like the same lady. Like if he was just dozing off, sleeping while he was in his interview. So it's really creepy.
And I think that's
really creepy.
That's the big thing at the very end. The people are asking, was he just imagining it? Was it just a story? You know,
we don't know.
We don't know.
That's that's the mind of madness right there, I think.
And I think that just adds to the charm of the movie.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Keep them guessing, man.
Yeah, because so this is the origin story, or is it? You know,
he's not supposed to have one. We're not supposed to empathize with the Joker. That's man. Oh, and there was one more Easter egg, I guess, when he was in the car, when he was in the cop car at the end, and he's like watching like the riots go off and everything, and he's just sitting there like with his head on the window. They said that was homage to Ledger. Yeah, little homage to the great Heath Ledger, man. God rest his soul. Rest in peace, sir.
Yes. Another one that I read, I didn't notice, but it is out there on the interwebs. So when he was getting ready to go out on Robert De Niro's show, he was in the green room or the dressing room, and they are saying somewhere in that room, hanging on the wall, was a picture of De Niro that really resembled Jack Nicholson's Joker. I don't know if you read that or not. Supposedly that's in there too as a little homage. I didn't see it. I'd have to watch it again and be on the lookout for that, but they are saying that it's out there also.
That's cool. I think I remember seeing that picture in the film. That's good stuff, man.
Yeah.
There's so many little things in there. I mean, I'm sure there's more that we don't even know, man. Like, totally. Like, the modern world, man. The Charlie Chaplin movie, and then that scene where he's actually watching the movie, and Charlie Chaplin's like riding around on the roller skate, and he almost goes over the edge of the railing, like that. Yeah, like think about that. Like teetering on the edge of sanity, I think is kind of like what they were. But anyway, that movie, Modern World, depicts a man kind of getting lost in the shuffle of the modernization world of the industrial rage, and it's definitely it's again a parallel of this Arthur Fleck who kind of just falls between the cracks, and like nobody knows him, and like what he ends up becoming is like, our own creation, right?
Yes. So, all right, we had to stop for a pit stop. So now that you've seen this Joker, how do you think he compares to the other Jokers? Ledger, specifically, I guess.
It's crazy. I see it like multiverses, like, right? Like, I appreciate Ledger's Joker. I think he's one of the best. Nicholson definitely had his time and place, and this new one, Joaquin, I can't wait to see what happens. Like, unfortunately, I don't know if they're gonna rope him into these new movies. I really don't. Like, it's not supposed to be that. Like, this isn't supposed to be a setup for Batman.
It's supposed to be a standalone.
Yeah.
I'm just worried. You know how Warner Brothers is. When they see something that succeeds, they jump on it, and I'm scared they're gonna try to ring this in, maybe with the.
They're gonna throw money. Yeah, I mean, they're gonna throw money at it. I like Leto's Joker, like Suicide Squad.
Like Leto's? I like the movie.
There's a time and place. I mean, there's a mob boss Joker that's kind of weird like that. I get it. Whatever. Like,
they are saying there was a lot of stuff cut out.
Yeah, I'm sure there was. I'm sure most of the best stuff was, but I like the chemistry between him and Harley Quinn. That was kind of cool. And it was a different look. It was like a different skin, right? Like we're in the world now, battle royale. Like, I love all the different skins. Like, so why not?
And if they do, let's say we bring this Joker in with Pattinson Batman, and then you have the whole Suicide Squad, Birds of Prey universe. How do you feel about two different universes, if you will?
I mean, I think it's inevitable. I mean, that's what's happening.
To me and you, we get it, right?
We get it. It's hard.
About the general
public. It's tough. It's tough. They're gonna revise it, right? They're gonna rebrand it. They're gonna relaunch it, and it'll be good. I mean, hopefully, The main idea is that the stories get told, right? And,
Right.
and more people know who Nightwing is, and Batgirl, and who Poison Ivy, and all that. Like, I'm hoping DC comes out the box, man. I really want DC's characters to kind of get their kind of fame, their time in the glory, because lately people have been talking a lot of smack about DC, man. Justice League didn't get a lot of good love and all that. Like, whatever, man. Director's cut of Superman vs. Batman was pretty legit. And, like, I mean, I don't know. That might be my opinion.
I ain't even seen the director's cut. I had a hard time enough watching the
Batman.
theatrical one.
Yeah, I get it.
I mean, I like Batfleck. I love Ben Affleck.
Okay, okay.
As the Batman.
Okay.
I love that. I like the Dark Knight Rises. So I like that big buffer Batman.
Sure, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought he did good. I didn't like that movie, but I didn't like Man of Steel though. Did you like Man of Steel?
It was okay. It was okay. I mean,
just too dark for a Superman movie.
you think it was too dark?
I think so. It was just
Yeah.
I was bored.
That's yeah. You wanted more Stars and Stripes. Dun dun dun.
Yeah, but to me, Superman's boring though too.
He is.
I mean,
I mean, he's righteous. He's good. He's just. I like the spin that it spun on Superman. I like looking at him as an alien. I like looking at him as a non-human, and it's like, I mean, like literally, like a lot of the stuff that Batman was saying is true, man. Like, yeah, you're not brave. You're indestructible, bro. Like, what the hell? Like,
and there's an argument that he's Superman. Nothing can hurt him. Nothing can stop him, and he doesn't really know how to fight because he doesn't have to really.
right.
It's like he's boring.
Right. Yeah, he's kind of omniscient. But then, I mean, if you really want to get into it, you get into like One Punch Man and all these crazy characters, and it's like, that's a little bit over the top. Like, anime, are you into anime? I'm kind of into anime a little bit.
My son is in big time. I'm trying to get into it. Like, I'm in season 3 of My Hero Academia. That's about it. He's trying to get me into Dr. Stone. Have you heard of Dr. Stone?
No.
From what people tell me, they reference Rick and Morty.
Oh wow.
I don't know how it relates, but people have said that.
My anime experience has been like, well, when I was real young, Mazinger. That was a Spanish. That was the name for the cartoon in Spanish. It was like It was sort of like a Voltron character, where this little ship would like land in this like big robot's head, and the big robot was hidden under this like pool, and it'd swim up to, it'd like fly up to this pool. This hovercraft would fly up to the pool, and the pool would open, and this huge robot would come out, and it was Mazinger, and the plane, the little module would fly into his head, and the guy would control it and like win or kick anybody's butt. Anyway, so it started off with that, and then it kind of like morphed into like Robotech. Are you familiar with Robotech? I love the Robotech series, like the whole fighter pilot like flying through space. Loved it. And then yeah, man, I checked out some like kung fu movies, like Samurai, Afro Samurai is amazing. Samurai Jack. I like a lot of the samurais apparently. Golago 13. If you're an anime fan and Golago 13 is a really cool obscure anime that is out there.
Wasn't that like a James Bond type of character?
So yes, he's literally like the Japanese version of James Bond, and like he goes around like has like meets the like love interest and whatever. Anyway, there's 2 really good shows that he has. One is called Golago 13 Queen Bee. Dude, check it out. Like, very crazy visuals. Like, the artistry in this anime is amazing, and like the words are off from the mouth. Like, it's dope. And then the other one would be Golago 13 The Professional, where he's a hitman, right? He's unknown origins. He's a hitman, and he gets hired to like do like the crazy jobs, like the jobs nobody wants to take.
I'm gonna have to look those up, man.
Yeah.
What were we talking about?
Oh man, we spiraled. We were talking about anime.
Went off on a tangent.
Yeah, we were talking about I don't know. Where are we at?
Well, back to Joker. What would you give it if you had to give it a letter grade?
A grade.
A through F.
You know, I give it an A because it was thought provoking. It was fresh. It was a fresh look. Like, this isn't a glamorous movie, and but it was a new take on, you know, some of those ideas of mental illness and what that entails, and the fact that some of it might have been a figment of his imagination is just even crazier, right? So like,
right.
The music, the feeling that it invoked, the music and the ride that it took me on, I mean, it was an A. It was an A. I really think.
It was an easy A for me.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about these reports of people walking out of the theaters? Have you heard this?
I think that's fake news.
You think it's fake news?
I don't, man, like,
They're
I don't.
saying that people saying that, oh, they
Now-
know someone with mental illness and this and that, and I don't know. To me, even if I don't like the movie, Batman vs Superman, I'm gonna watch that whole movie. You know what I mean? I'm gonna give it a chance. Maybe you're right. Maybe it is fake news.
I don't know. I think people would have tweeted about that. Like, that came from the news outlets, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
People
funny
are
how we
walking
didn't.
out.
Funny how we didn't see that on Twitter first. Like, honestly, like, like if I want to look at news, I kind of pull up Twitter. Normally, that has what's going on, like, and it's a little more.
It's sad that we do that, right?
Why? I mean,
it's easier, and then instead of waiting for
I
the
think-
6 o'clock news or 10 o'clock news.
yeah, man, I think that was part of the narrative. I think that was, you know, and people were right to be afraid and right to kind of use caution around it and stuff like that because it. But no, man, I didn't see anybody walking out of my theater.
Did you also hear that there was some fake? No, they are fake signs that they were seen at theaters saying that they're not gonna allow any single people, like if you're there going by yourself, that you can't go by yourself to see this movie. Have you seen that too?
Wow.
Ended up being fake, but people were putting up these signs saying,
Hey, man,
you can't go by yourself.
Power of the internet. Like,
It's crazy.
dude, people use, again, the best thing about the internet is the worst thing about the internet, dude. Is that it's open and anybody can put anything on the internet, and it's unfortunate, man. But I'm glad that people took to Twitter, people took to social media, like fans, and we were like, listen, this is BS. This is what this is about. Like, don't be fooled. Rotten Tomatoes is. Rotten Tomatoes gave it like a 73, and then like the people gave it like a 95 or something. Like, I mean, how many times has that happened? Like,
Yeah, I read a few of the bad reviews, and I don't get it. I don't see it. To me, this movie is great. Joaquin is great. He should get something from this movie.
absolutely, I agree.
So, if you haven't seen it, sorry we spoiled it for you, or at least some spoils.
We really didn't do that bad a job, but
Nah.
but definitely, even with what you told you, you could go see it, and you're gonna be completely floored.
You're gonna be, shock and awe.
That's what I remember. Like, my mouth was open. Like, sometimes I
Yes.
was just like, I was just like,
I mean, I usually don't talk in movies, right? I like to be taken to another place, but I literally was like, oh shit, I really like.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was completely crazy. Speaking of, did you? I mean, in game, what did you? I mean, Did you?
We're gonna go here.
I was just. I mean.
Okay, what about Endgame?
I mean, I'm sure you've already given your review, but I'm kind of curious for personally. I mean, like, did you cry? Did you
I'm a big
cheer?
baby.
Did you, like, what happened? Like, what
I'm a
did you
big
think
baby.
of Endgame?
I'm a big baby in my old age. This scene.
You cried when Cap got Mjolnir? Like,
No,
is that?
No.
or when Robert?
Be honest, I'm not a huge comic book guy. Like, I don't know all the.
Okay.
I don't know all the stories. Right?
Okay.
I'm a fan. I'm
All right.
definitely a fan,
All
but
right.
I'm not a comic book nerd. Like, I don't know all the stories.
Copy. Yeah, I got it.
Which a lot of comic book nerds, they got all excited about that. Avengers Assemble and all that stuff. What got me?
Yeah.
What got me was Pepper Potts when she told him, we're gonna be okay. You can rest now.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
That part got me right there.
Robert Downey.
So, are you a Marvel head?
I mean, yeah. Like, I'm pretty wrapped. Like, I've done research on all the characters. I saw this coming years ago. I actually painted a picture of Thanos on his throne in space and gave it to my buddy Ryan like 10 years ago, and it
Really?
looks crazy. I exaggerate a lot. I'm sure it's not 10, but I gave it to him and I said, listen, this is Thanos. You don't know who this is, but you will. I promise. And he was like, for real? Yeah. And he has it up in his house. And it's crazy. And
Nice.
but I saw this coming, and I was really excited because I knew how epic this movie would have to be in order to put all these rich characters together, and think about the plot building it took to build all these characters up. Like Ant-Man. Like, nobody knew who Ant-Man was before this. Like, nobody had a clue. People were like, oh, he runs around, he's an ant? Like, people had no clue who Ant-Man was until this happened. People knew Captain America, Hulk, Iron Man.
Did they though? Did they? I'll be honest. When Iron Man first came out, I was like,
Who the hell's that?
"Who's Iron Man?"
Yeah, maybe you did.
I mean,
Spider-Man. Spider-Man's more
yeah,
popular.
the big
Hulk.
ones. Hulk, Spider-Man.
Okay. Oh, well, there you go. Yeah, I mean,
As far as Marvel, those were the household names. Maybe Wolverine, right?
yeah.
Those are the ones people know. Your average Joe.
Yeah, nobody knew who Deadpool was. They're like,
No.
Deadpool? Who the hell is that cat? Like, nobody knew who that was until all this craziness started.
It's just amazing how mainstream it is now.
Super.
great.
But it is good. It is good. I mean, these characters are, rich characters, man. Some of them has crazy and amazing stories that really reached a lot of people, apparently. Like, some people have taken these characters and really kind of like, embodied them and really, it's helped a lot of kids. It's cool. It's
Yeah.
entertainment, right?
So you brought up Endgame, right?
Endgame.
We're a couple months away from the end of the year, but the way it looks right now, Endgame or Joker?
Oh, as far as like which was better?
Yeah, like, or something else. What? We're not there yet, but where we are at right now in the year, what are your top movies from this year?
I mean, I think they're different genres. I mean, Endgame is definitely very iconic, very epic for me. Joker is it's a great film, man. Very artsy. They're in different categories. I think Joker was very, very artsy. Very a lot of acting was going on, and Endgame to me felt like it was a lot more CGI. Costumes.
And that's another thing. Joaquin Phoenix, he was so skinny in that movie.
Yeah, his performance, like, people are like, I've seen the thing, like, Robert Downey needs to get an Oscar for Endgame. I
think that was CG.
I mean, he did okay. I don't know if it's Oscar worthy. Like, have you seen some of his other movies? Like, he's done a lot of good stuff. Like, Endgame was okay. It was an epic movie that doesn't don't think that necessarily means you have to give somebody an Oscar, like best cinematography or CGI and
special effects.
Yeah, it's effects and things like. Dude,
best sound.
I don't think anybody, touches it. It Joaquin Phoenix, the Joker is more about the acting. I mean, he's a method actor. He went hard in the paint. That deserves some recognition. I mean, Robert Downey shot that last scene on a green screen. Like, come on. Like, I mean, I get it. Don't get me wrong. Don't want to take anything from Robert Downey, but honestly, like, if you're looking at acting, like, come on, Joker. But just depends on the category, I guess.
So I got a couple more questions. So, episode 9 coming out, Star Wars. Are you a Star Wars fan too?
Big Star Wars fan.
Now, did you like The Last Jedi?
I did.
I liked it a lot. I don't know what these people are talking about.
Yeah, I everybody's got an opinion. It can never be as good as what you want it to be. I thought it was good. I think we're going into a new era. I think, well, they're smart, right? I mean, this whole dark light, harnessing both type situation. I mean, there was a game that came out that harnessed both. Like, part of your walk through becoming a Jedi was being able to harness the dark and the light side, right? You know what I'm talking about, right? So I think that's where this is going. Like, I really think that Rey is a new type of Jedi that can tap into the dark and the light. And I think, I mean, I don't know. I've heard rumblings that this is what's going on, but it's going to be really interesting. I saw the trailer where she pulls out the Darth Maul stick, and I know that's her preferred weapon. I think
that's her vision.
I think it's a dream. I think it's a dream. I think that's one of that's the Emperor speaking to her in her dream, saying, "Hey, man, this is how cool it could be."
Yeah. Well, we're definitely gonna have to do this again for episode 9. Yeah,
man. I'm 100%. Like, Star Wars is close to my heart. I'm a big fan.
So I got a pretty big question, at least for me. So I don't know if you know, we're good friends, or I'm good friends with the guys that run the Raw Live Unedited podcasting network, and real soon you'll be able to hear my show on their network also. But one argument that's going on with them and amongst their crew is the cultural significance between Marvel and Star Wars. Now, they have a whole Star Wars podcast on their network, and most of the other guys are Marvel heads, and so there's just a lot of back and forth. One of these days we're gonna do a show where the whole show is just gonna be arguing back and forth between Marvel.
Who's better?
Yeah. Or who's more cultural significant, Star Wars or Marvel?
Oh. So, wow. Who's
if I gave you that question
today,
right now, or I'll tell you the way Rich says it on the ROU. If you were in a boat, right, and you had Marvel and you had Star Wars, and one of them has to go, who is it?
Wow, one of them has to go.
Yeah.
Like, I have to kick, like, one group out. Man, I'm inclusive, man. I don't like kicking groups out. If I had to pick one, I have known Star Wars longer. I've grown up with Star Wars. I grew up knowing of Marvel, but as of late, I've become a Marvel fan. So I'd have to stick to Star Wars personally. But yeah, man, I mean, I think Marvel has some very rich and crazy stories that that really kind of expand the mind. So again, I'm always looking for the next thing, man. Like, I love, and that's the other thing. Like, I don't know why we all have to be so segmented. Like, why not be completely inclusive? Like,
I mean, They're all the same company now. Disney owns them all.
Well, and they're all great stories, and it's all sci-fi, man. It's all like we're all like the same type of magic, and I'll even wrap the D&D guys into this realm. Like, you know, a lot of us look at the D&D guys like they're crazy, right? But
right.
I mean, they're all right, man. They got some ideas. They're sorcerers. They're wizards. Like, I mean, you know. Doctor Strange and there's different people like that. Oh, DC has its version too, and Star Wars has its version too. Yoda, like Yoda's pretty sorcery, and so is the evil sorcerer. Who's that? The Emperor. Like they shoot like light out of their hands and things. Those are very sorcery type space magic, right? As Thor puts it, like you wouldn't know about this space. This is space magic. He's like, don't worry about your simple mind.
What'd you think of Fat Thor?
The dude, right?
Yeah.
He was so good. It's funny. It's very comical. It's very funny. But, I mean, it's kind of tragic at the same time, dude. Like, Thor's ego has completely been shattered after this thing.
Yeah.
Like, he's a different person.
Thanos destroyed him.
He really did.
Yeah. Mentally.
Yes. And so we're going to really see that play out. Like, it was a joke and we all laughed and whatever, but you could tell, like, he got his butt whooped, right? In Endgame, like, he got his butt whooped. They all did, but he kind of got...
He felt he messed up. He had the chance to take him out.
He felt one of the most... Exactly, and that's interesting that you caught that. I don't think a lot of people caught that, but he felt the most responsible, literally, because he was like right there. Thor is the strongest Avenger, right? Like, isn't he? Like, he's like the Superman of the Avengers, right? So he's like he's a god. He's a god. He's a god. So, but for him to fail, and like, if you think about it, like, think about what he says in the movie. He's like, well, yeah, like, my mom died, my dad died, lost my hammer, got broken, my sister destroyed Asgard, I lost half the... Dude, like, that guy's had, like, nothing but bad luck.
So he said, screw it, I'm gonna play Fortnite with Krog.
Hey, man, like, sometimes you just give up, dude. He drank a lot. Like, poor guy, he was pretty distraught, right? So it's going to be his Love and Thunder, Natalie Portman. Dude, I'm
pass on the hammer.
We'll see what happens, man. I think we'll see Beta Ray Bill too as well in that movie, man. I think it's going to be kind of wild and crazy, but I think Thor will retire. Like, I think you'll see Hemsworth literally say, like, right off into the sunset.
Yeah, they got to move on. They got to do
he's
other
done.
things.
He's done.
And I think that's just leading to this whole woman movement, like it or not. Lady Thor, She-Hulk. You heard She-Hulk coming out.
She-Hulk. Who's gonna do She-Hulk?
I don't think they have an actress
They don't
yet.
have one yet. Who would you like? Who would you see? Who would you like?
I don't know why people are saying Ronda Rousey, but I don't see it.
I think a brunette would work better as She-Hulk. I don't know. Maybe I'm weird. I don't know.
I mentioned it with the ROU guys. I kind of like Anne Hathaway. I think it should be like a regular girl.
Oh, yeah. Somebody like Bruce, right? Like, so he was a normal dude. But Hathaway, man, like Catwoman, really? Catwoman.
I know.
It bothers me.
I think she's a good actress.
I see it. I
mean, she's got.
What about Latin? What about Latin woman? What about
the Pink Ranger?
What about I know you have her pigeonholed for something else, but Dawson. What about Dawson?
Who? Dawson.
Yeah, Rosario Dawson.
Oh yes, Rosario Dawson.
I think she could play Hulk. She-Hulk. I think she'd do badass.
Ahsoka Tano. You don't know who that is? Star Wars character from the Clone Wars.
Whoa, that's deep. You're pretty deep in that. Like, you know that series pretty well, right?
It's I wouldn't say really well, but I know the characters. I wasn't a fan. Like I said, I thought cartoons, those are for kids, and I really only I watched the whole series maybe 2 years ago, and it's good if you have time to watch the Clone Wars and Rebels. Rebels are really good.
Yeah. Hey, so I mean, are they doing Obi-Wan? Is that really happening? Like that whole like red?
They're doing a series.
It's a series. It's not a movie.
I'd rather have a series.
Really?
Yes.
Because the movie concept sounded so crazy, like him on that planet by himself, like, or like this whole like spiritual like walk path type thing.
I mean, movies, yes, because they're more mainstream, but TV, you get more. You know?
Yeah.
Would you rather have 2.5 hours?
2.5 hours versus a season,
or,
right?
You know, let's say an 8 episodes season, get 8 hours. You know.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. Like, they're talking about, speaking of, and I don't know why I thought of this, but they're talking about making a Scorsese or a Quentin Tarantino version of Star Trek. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
What would you think of a Quentin Tarantino version of Star Wars, dude?
Of Star Wars?
Yeah.
Like if they gave him a movie or series?
Just said, hey, do it.
Do your thing.
Do your thing. Like, wouldn't that be dope?
I'd be down, especially if it was like a Pulp Fiction, like all out of sequence. That would just really fuck you up.
Who knows, man? Like, I'd like to, yeah, like a whole, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy kind of like hopping around who knows, man? That'd be crazy, right?
I mean, why not, right?
Exactly.
Why not?
I
mean, the way it's looking, Star Wars is free game right now, you know?
Well, I mean, it's definitely Disney's baby now, so I'm sure they have it all worked out.
They got something worked out.
Yes, sir. Have you been to the Star Wars Disneyland experience yet?
No.
Dude, I want to go.
You've been?
No,
Oh.
I want to go. I haven't been to Disney World, and my daughter has, but I haven't. But I'd go for that.
I'm hoping to go this summer. My dad lives in California, so the plan is, to go visit my dad, and while we're there, take a trip to Disneyland. So
do it.
That's the plan.
Heck yeah, man! Sounds great.
Well, it is getting late, and I have to work in the morning. But PJ, it was real good having you on. I forgot to tell everybody about your guys' show.
Oh, yeah.
So please
Real
talk
quick.
about your show.
Yeah. So I am a producer of The Hustlers Huddle. You can find us at The Hustlers Huddle on IG or at thehustlershuddle.com, or you can even email us at thehustlershuddle@gmail.com. Basically, it's a networking podcast about you. It's about hustlers, right? We try to get some of the top talented hustlers in the area and kind of get them to sit down and kind of talk to us about what makes them successful, how they got there, what they have going on in their lives, and we just want to reach out to you and kind of give you a little bit of exposure and let people hear your story. And again, there's some amazing people out there that we get to meet and that we know, and we're basically giving them a little spotlight to kind of talk about what's important to them and what they like and what they got going on.
Nice. And that's currently on YouTube, right?
So we have a YouTube channel, we have a website, and we're on IG, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter. And just today we're up on Spotify. So now you can look us up on Spotify, The Hustlers Huddle. And we got about 4 episodes on there right now. I got about 4 more that I gotta upload. And we're currently in the process of doing that. But we're kind of young. We're getting
Getting your feet wet.
Yeah, we're getting our feet wet, but we're getting better at it. And I think we got some good content out there for you.
Nice.
Cool, man. I really appreciate you having me on. This has been amazing. I again, Lucky, man. This has been great, man. This is definitely my wheelhouse, and I would love to come back whenever you could want to have me.
Hey, whenever you get a chance, man. Again, it was good seeing you. We haven't seen each other in years.
Yeah,
years,
man.
with a Z. Years. All right.
Cool, man. Sounds good.
Thanks.
Well, I appreciate it.
Thanks
Good
for
deal.
coming.
Had a good time. We'll definitely do it again. And you're always welcome on the Hustlers Huddle. We'll definitely, anytime you got some time available, we'll get you on there and we'll hash it out, man. We'll talk some stuff.
I might take you up on that. And before I go, just remember, everybody, check out 3leggedrabbit.com. Right now, if you use the code podcast, then check out and get 10% off any podcast merchandise. That's Dork Dad Podcast or RLU gear there on 3leggedrabbit.com. And until next time, I'll see y'all later.
You've been listening to the Dork Dad Podcast. Please remember to follow, like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Until next time, keep it dorky.